A man says he's being chased because he found a mysterious object that he says came from the sky. First, he thought it was a meteorite. However, the object began to grow fast. As of today, its shape and color have transformed mysteriously in a matter of days. But that's not the strangest and potentially most dangerous part. This thing is now moving. And no, it really does not appear to be a video made with artificial intelligence or graphics. I know it sounds crazy, but these videos are probably real. The real question is whether this is one of the most creative hoaxes in history, or whether this is the event that is about to change the world forever. Beginning with Ken, the man who found the creature. Ken's real name is Kevin Morse. He's a 42-year-old man who seems to work at Copa Airlines, an airline based in Panama. Because of his job, Kevin is always meeting new places, new faces, new adventures. In late August 2025, Kevin took his dogs to explore his own backyard. Suddenly, he finds what he says is an object that came from the sky. He said he found it in this hole, most likely caused by the impact when it dropped from space. It was so fresh, you could still see fire. Kevin doesn't hesitate. He takes it. And that's when things get weird. He says he's been advised not to touch it. He also says that there is an international university on its way to check this out. No, he doesn't specify which university or when it's happening, but he says it's going to happen soon.
El meteorito ha cambiado de color.
Out of nowhere, the potato-looking thing looks like a potato that's been sprayed with metallic paint. And quite honestly, at this point, I assumed it was yet another hoax. But then he says that he's noticed that every time this gets close to plants, it kills them. To prove it, he shows it.
Ustedes pueden ver cómo ella transmite como una fuerza. Totalmente raro. Miren. Y no creen en el meteorito. Yo quisiera que vinieran rápido a investigar este tipo de piedra. No sé de dónde vendrá, de qué galaxia.
It is not clear how this is happening, but of course it's possible that he heated up the rock, or the thing, before doing the test.
Como que lo destruye, pero cuando tú lo agarras, no quema. Eso es lo extraño. No sé si estará haciéndome daño en mi mano.
I do think it's interesting how the leaf doesn't seem to take any more damage after he places it back on the rock. Why not anymore? But Kevin says it goes way beyond killing plants. In his next report, he shows something that takes this mystery to a whole new level.
Estaba atrás en el patio, y cuando veo el lugar donde cayó esta roca, van a ver lo siguiente. Les voy a enseñar algo de otro mundo. Aquí en el lugar donde cayó el meteorito hace varios días, cuando yo apago la luz.
He says this is the same hole where he originally found his new friend. It's glowing, and he doesn't know why. However, there's one thing he knows. He's getting scared. Or so he says.
Esto me está asustando ya. Me está asustando. Yo no puedo creer esto. No tiene una explicación que yo sepa del lugar donde cayó el meteorito. Bueno, yo tenía rato que no venía aquí de noche. Y no sabía que esto estaba así. Más asustado no puedo estar.
But it actually gets worse.
Ahora que lo he puesto a tomar sol, veo que le están haciendo una especie como de...
The rock starts growing some weird thing on the side. Kevin thinks it's a parasitic body, maybe like a plant, or an actual creature. He doesn't know. But he notices that the more sun it gets, the faster it grows. But what is it going to grow into? This time, the shape is not just different, it also appears to move. This movement may have been caused by twisting that arm before pressing record, which would explain why it no longer moves in the next shots. But this move, I have no idea how he got that. I searched online trying to identify whatever this was. It looked like some type of snail, some sea creature, but I was not successful. There's a few people online, and there's even some articles that mention it could be some type of stinkhorn fungi, which includes a variety of types, but in reality, I couldn't find anything that looked even close to this.
Si me preguntan cómo huele, huele a quemado. Cada vez huele más fuerte. El olor, lo que más parece es como un olor a quemado. Todavía las autoridades competentes no se han presentado. Voy a tener que cambiar el recipiente donde está por seguridad y porque está creciendo. Si alguien me pudiera decir qué es, qué está creciendo ahí en mi piedra. Algo extraordinario. Ustedes están viviendo algo único.
At this point, the drastic changes this thing has supposedly gone through are freaking out Kevin. He's worried that this is going to grow out of control, so he's controlling how much sunlight this thing gets. He claims he's keeping it in the darkness most of the time because not only he doesn't know what this is going to turn into, it could be potentially dangerous, but he has tried to reach out to authorities for help, universities. Unfortunately, he says, no one is showing up. What did show up next is the sort of thing you'll see in a classic 80s horror movie, but worse, because this could be real, a real threat, or our first real ET friend. It all depends how you see life. And there it is. Yep, the new version of this potential rock or former potato or alien creature or terrestrial unknown creature is now looking like this. It looks like a burned heart or burnt chicken. Some people claim it looks like some movie prop, but in reality, either only the gods or Kevin actually know what this is.
Bastante, ha cambiado de color.
And if you're wondering what the heck is he doing with all those jars, he's actually chopping pieces of this thing to send samples to people he claims are his friends around the world. And I know why you're thinking, so that's what he wanted to sell. Well, in the video, I thought the same, by the way, but in the video, he claims these are 100% free. He just wants people to have as much evidence of the existence of this as possible. What do you think? Do you believe him? Or is this he teasing his upcoming business?
Algún día va a desprenderse de la piedra, eso es lo que me preocupa. Si se desprende de la piedra, ya quedaría totalmente solito. Ya individual, pues, como antes. Ya lo voy a quitar aquí porque ve que se está moviendo como cada vez más y yo me parece que hasta puede estar creciendo ahorita mismo. Lo veo. Ya que ustedes no son los que están aquí. Ustedes no son los que están aquí.
I do wish I was there, but do you notice when he turned off the light?
Ustedes no son los que están aquí.
Why did he do so? He actually never gave an explanation about this besides the fact that he was heavily criticized for trying to hide what others think are cords pulling. Is this an actual puppet and are there strings pulling it? We're definitely going to dissect that soon. But first, take a look at what happens next. The beast is not only seen looking much larger than before, it has now detached from the rock, or the potato, which was Kevin's biggest fear. He's keeping it in a safe, not just so that it gets no sunlight and it doesn't grow further, but so that the creature is kept safe. But why? Why does he think that this is in danger? Kevin Morse's next posts are a series of videos that appear glitchy, insinuating and actually claiming that unknown forces are trying to silence him, attacking his videos online and trying to get them deleted entirely from the internet.
Videos. Save the videos. There are evidence. They'll probably all be deleted. Su atención, por favor. Guarden los videos.
No dejen que borren los videos. No dejen que borren los videos. Yo estoy bien. No se preocupen, yo estoy bien. La cosa es que no se lo llevaron, yo lo tengo. Yo lo tengo, no deje que se lo llevaron. Voy a apagar el celular, pero no se preocupen, yo estoy bien. Porque no me hice caso. Una amiga me está ayudando y me está dando refugio aquí. Aquí no vive nadie. Y lo que tengo, yo creo que no ha crecido tanto, no permito que haga luz. En esta ventana sí que tuve que poner unos cartuchos. Ahí me están esperando. Me trajeron un maletín y quiere que le dé las muestras y voy a entregar meteorito. Espero que estén bien resguardados en buenas manos.
The people waiting outside were contacted by one of Kevin's friends. We don't know if they're scientists or experts in some other field, but they will be running tests on this.
Hoy vino unas personas que me contactaron y parece que son especialistas en esto.
You're probably wondering how the heck did it go from being this size to this? And we are all on the same page. Kevin is not clear as to whether he took a sample off of it or these were earlier videos. We are currently clueless. I, of course, reached out for an interview. He has not replied, but stay tuned because if he does, we're going to get to ask him all of your questions. Now, back to the story because here's where things take a wild turn. In his last videos, Kevin shows himself and the creature from a house he's hiding from. The house belongs to a friend, he says, and he's having to hide because there's people chasing this creature. They want it. On top of it, Kevin says he's getting more and more scared because this thing keeps getting bigger.
Amiga, no te puedo ayudar más. Yo no quiero entrevista, no quiero nada.
In this video posted today, Kevin insinuates that he kind of wants to give up. He doesn't want the attention, doesn't want to be interviewed, doesn't want to apparently give answers. It seems he's insinuating that he wants to get rid of it. However, this shot here shows what appears to be some type of imagery analysis on these fungi, potato, or whatever it is. He once again doesn't tell us what this is, which makes all of this extremely suspicious. And this brings us to the debunkers' side of this story. They claim you can clearly see strings pulling this thing. When he stops moving, so does the potential puppet. The fact that he's constantly turning off the light and giving us a very dark video, it's also very suspicious because he clearly states that it is sunlight, not artificial lighting. Sunlight is what makes this thing grow. So there's no reason to not turn on a light and give us a better video. This hole right here, which is where he claims he found the alien meteorite, shows matches, which may and is probably evidence that he's the one who started the fire. Kevin started the fire. He literally may have been, and not the impact from the supposed meteorite. And there's just moments like this where it just looks so fake. And there's moments like this where it looks like a bunch of sea creatures stuck together or something, but it's very tough to decipher how is it that this is moving. Debunkers bring up another important point. There's no scientific study, no legitimate entity has given us an official answer as to what this is. And that's a very valid point. I'm a journalist, I 100% understand that. But that doesn't immediately mean that this thing is not real or is not what Kevin claims it is. A lot of people also complain that there's no evidence of this meteorite impact, no record of it in Panama, no media coverage, and that is true. There's no such thing as of now. I'll keep on researching. Maybe there's a match that is found, and oh my God, if that's the case, it changes everything. But for now, there's no official record of it. And if you're looking at the screen right now, can you see how his gloves have black paint or something black on it? Well, debunkers say that's evidence of him painting and manipulating his potential puppet. And that may absolutely be true, but also maybe the gloves are dirty because the beast is dirty. That should be the name of an 80s song or something. Another big point is that this story is developing just like a classic meteorite hoax. Of course, this is not the first time media gets hit with a story of this kind. It's happened before, and most of them have been proven to be hoaxes. Considering all the information we have so far, I am leaning towards yes, this is most likely a hoax. But of course, only time will tell. He's now posting what appears to be studies. If that's the next phase for this, I'm really hoping to be surprised. But what do you think? Is this the real life story of a man who finds an extraterrestrial friend? Or is this the story of a man thirsty for money and attention with a clever plan to succeed? Thank you so much for existing. Here's a video that I really think you're gonna love. See you next time.